Seems like this is a revolution.
AEW versus NXT, the Wednesday Night War. When this started, everybody was thinking this is going to be the next Monday Night War. The wrestling world is going to tune in and we're going to see so much awesomeness happen. But that wasn't the case. A war, I don't know if I'd go that far to say it, but we did have the final rating after NXT decided they're going to move to Tuesday nights because they're going to have sports on the USA Network on Wednesday nights. We have a total of Dynamite picking up 63 wins, with NXT picking up 10, and a tie between two shows. And then there was 5 times where they ran unopposed. This was crazy, because when we started this entire war, everybody thought that AEW chose Wednesday nights to compete with the WWE and NXT, but that wasn't the case. AEW simply had to refer to their show as Dynamite instead of Tuesday Night Dynamite. They wanted Tuesday Night Dynamite TNT on TNT. So everyone that says, oh, NXT had Wednesdays and they went ahead, no. They wanted Tuesday Night Dynamite. And TNT and Warner Media decided you're going to be on Wednesday nights. TNT has the NBA to worry about on Tuesday night games, and they didn't want to have to sacrifice those games for pro wrestling or move pro wrestling to another time just because there were games on. So that's why they ended up snagging the Wednesday night and doing Dynamite there. We had a war. We had superstars from the WWE come to AEW to try and better their career. We had Mr. Brody Lee, before he passed away, have a great career in AEW. Matt Hardy's doing his thing right now. Miro, Sting came in, Christian Cage, and of course, Jon Moxley, who debuted at the inaugural Double or Nothing event. We also had Jake Hagar come in, and we had Shawn Spears come in, but they were there from the beginning of the company. This was something that I never thought I'd see again. Another war between two companies in professional wrestling. There wasn't that many jabs back and forth like when WCW was going head-to-head with WWF. I mean, Eric Bischoff was just a blatant asshole, and he decided that he was going to poke the bear. He was going to give spoilers away. He was going to tell everybody what happened on the other show. We didn't get that. However, we did get some interesting stuff from AEW. Now, I think it was AEW's ball game from the start here, because AEW is being the brand new company, and they were going to get people tuning in just to see what they were doing. Nothing against NXT, but NXT just isn't the same NXT that it was years ago. Now, I don't watch NXT religiously because I'm just not a fan of what I see on their product. I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm not going to say it's good because honestly, I don't watch it that often, and that's just something that I choose. AEW for me is just a good show because they always try to be unpredictable. They brought in Mike Tyson to do some cool things. They had some awesome stuff with Jon Moxley, the Inner Circle, and now they have the Pinnacle with MJF leading that group. I think I'm very interested to see where this goes, and honestly, after the war is over, this is something that I'm probably not going to remember. It's not like the Monday Night Wars. The Wednesday Night Wars just doesn't hold up to that. I will say this is probably better for both companies because the ratings, they never popped over 1 million past the first 3 AEW shows unless NXT wasn't on. That kind of sucks. AEW and NXT were fighting back and forth for a small piece of the pie, a very small piece of the pie, trying to pop that 1 million viewers. Now, I think both of them being on separate days will be better for both companies. AEW can do their thing on Wednesday nights, and NXT can do their thing on Tuesday nights. Now, NXT isn't moving to Tuesday nights because they're afraid of AEW. It's a USA call. It comes from the network. They want them on Tuesday nights because USA is condensing their networks. They're going to have sports on Wednesday nights, and having NXT in that slot just doesn't work for them in what they're going for their company. October 2nd, 2019, all the way till April 7th, 2021. That were the official dates for the war, with NXT picking up the final victory and winning as they move to Tuesday nights. NXT pulled a fast one by having TakeOver be their last show, and that made people tune in to see what was going to happen. AEW, to me, didn't put on their best show on the last night they could have, but it was still a fun show nonetheless. I think both companies are going to look back with fond memories of the war and say it was fun to have this little back and forth, even though nothing really came of it. I think the pandemic put a big halt in some of the plans that they had for both shows, and if that pandemic wouldn't have happened, it would be very interesting to see where both companies would be at. AEW was supposed to do Blood and Guts a long time ago, but now they're finally going to do it, and they're going to do it unopposed to NXT, so we'll have to see what the ratings are like at that time. I think with no fans, then having some fans, and trying to figure out what exactly they wanted to do with their wrestling companies on both sides of the fence, that's what made things very, very interesting. None of us could see what was going to happen with COVID and the wrestling shutdown and then doing the shows with no fans. But I think now we're finally getting back to where we're understanding. We're getting back to having the good shows. Fans are now coming back in attendance, and we're going to finally crank things up and see what both companies are really made of. Again, like I said before, I think it's very, very good that both companies are running unopposed. I would also want to know, what would it be like if AEW was on Tuesdays, NXT was on Wednesdays, and then NXT decided to move to Tuesdays because USA pushed them over there? I wonder, would the ratings be different, or would they play out much of the same with AEW picking up most of the ratings victories here? Another big stat that everybody likes to look at is the key demographic, the 18 to 49. That's what everybody strives to get. That's the core audience that they want watching their wrestling program. Well, it looks like AEW won 74 episodes of the key demographic, with NXT picking up one in the 4th episode. There was 5 times where they were unopposed. I do think it's very interesting that they have that key demographic watching AEW versus NXT having that key demographic. It just shows that WWE has a much older audience watching their product. The people that tune into WWE are the people that have been watching WWE forever. There's people that watch WWE just because it's WWE. I don't think that people are tuning out of the WWE or the NXT shows. I just think that AEW has found different fans that don't necessarily watch the WWE. Because when you talk about professional wrestling, the only thing that you ever think of when you talk to anybody that's a casual fan that doesn't watch regularly wrestling, oh, you mean WWE? Nobody really thinks of AEW. But again, AEW is still in its infancy. They're still trying to figure things out. And I think Dynamite, in the way that they have their show set up, is really good. I think they have a great format that's setting them up for success. They always have a lot of shocking things happen. Like they just had Mike Tyson on. They're going to do Blood and Guts again. And they have those big 4 pay-per-views that they do every year. Maybe a little bit more. I can't remember exactly how many pay-per-views they do. But AEW, that's their business model. And it's different than WWE has. When it comes to WWE and NXT, yes, they have their stuff, but WWE has a million other programs. They have Raw, they have SmackDown, they have a lot of content that they have to produce. So NXT losing in the ratings is fine for them. They have Raw, they have Peacock, they have SmackDown, they have NXT. They're doing just fine. Even if NXT lost in the ratings, there's no problem. Honestly, it's kind of sad to say the Wednesday Night War is over, but again, it wasn't really a war. I think it was just fun to say that it was a war. It was fun to look back. It's fun to say, oh, we could have got something that was like the WWE versus WCW. It definitely wasn't that, but we did see wrestling on TNT versus WWE. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to leave you. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Did you enjoy this war, or was it not much of a war for you? For me, I don't think it was much of a war. I just chose to watch AEW as a brand new company, and I just didn't tune into NXT. That was just my choice. Not that I don't like NXT, it's just something I didn't watch. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. As always, I'm TonyPizzaGuy. We'll see you in another video.